There is no way that if you feel God inside of you, you don't have a natural and very powerful urge to embrace everybody. There's no way. God is inherently embracing. So if you felt and you had a true connection with the Holy Spirit of God and the universe itself, creation itself, and it touched your heart, there's no way that this greater and absolute level of emotion, energy, information, instruction, guidance, light has come down on you and you've downloaded ideas that promote the embracing of the everybody, the collective. There's no way. If you haven't felt that yet, it's because in the culture that we live today is we're constantly training ourselves to be distant from that very essence, right? We're trained to be analytical, we're trained to be for being cold, we're trained to suppress a greater vision and just stick to the norm. We train ourselves to be in a box, which the universe is the exact opposite of it. We train to carry resentment, war, conflict, collision, destruction. So you need to feel God for you to talk about God. I cannot talk about God if I've never experienced God. I cannot talk about God from an idea, from my intellectual dimension. God is a spiritual, energetic dimension. The intellect is based on language and definitions, which are very important. All layers of experience are extremely important. They're here for a reason. But we need to understand that potential comes from higher to low, just like electricity, for example. Electricity is everywhere in the universe. Everything is made of light. Electricity is everywhere. And then we find a way to funnel it down. First, we collect it from the ether. We literally collect it from the atmosphere. We build structures that can attract and conduce this energy. And then we filter it and funnel it down to circuits. And then we attach that to homes and to the entire physical structure that we live in, right? With the universe is the same thing. God is this infinite potential. So it's only when I feel and I tap into that I can then talk about it correctly. Otherwise, the signal is completely distorted. You lose the signal. So a lot of people, they talk about God from an intellectual standpoint because they've read something. That's very different than experiencing God inside of you and in the everything, right? And the thing is that we're getting there, we're getting there individually, we're getting there collectively, and the only way out is this, really. It's not that it's the only way out. This is the only movement that exists. More and more and more expansion every time. Okay, so feel God inside of yourself by expanding and transcending everything that you were told. Everything that you were told. It's about more and not less. It's about embracing this energy of existence itself. love, compassion, and the Holy Spirit. There's no power can that there's no force that can compete with that level of power, right? And today we live in a world that is getting there. It's getting there, you know. We're little by little realizing things. There's no going back. Once this information enters your awareness field, your field of awareness, it never goes back. It's increased information. And once you feel that type of information, you have more resources to navigate better through life. You have more creative resources, more vitality and energy. And this is what your entire being ultimately wants. And that's what we want in the collective. Because if we just stop and just destroy each other, nothing else exists. You know, if we just kill each other, uh, then that person might as well just kill the. It's going to get to a point that you've killed so many people that your mentality is so out of harmony. You're so unaccepting, or you're so worried about self-interest that not even your own group is going to survive, because inside of your own group there's going to be self-interest. So that very movement is destructive and unsustainable. It doesn't work in the long term. That's why a lot of people need to learn through pain. A lot, like most of us, we learn through pain. It's not most people that learn through love directly, right? Most of us, we resist up to the point where we open ourselves and surrender to what's real. We've all been in a negative situation that became overwhelming, and then we had to give up. We had to surrender. We cried, we surrendered, and then we came back with humility, and we told ourselves, or we told God, or the universe, which is ourselves, expressing, like, is the universe is expressing itself through ourselves. We've all been to that point. We surrendered, we cried, we, collapsed, and then we talked to this greater dimension of ourselves. I just want to do things right. Please, I'm going to do things right this time, with humility. Please tell me what to do, and I'll do it. Obeying that greater version of you, right? We've all been there. We need to learn from history. We need to learn from war. We need to learn from the destruction that we've caused. Being guided, living life through self-interest and self-interest only doesn't work. Governments who try to do that, like dictatorship or extremists groups, that doesn't work, because it becomes so overwhelmingly negative for the collective that it becomes unacceptable for everybody. You go against the very movement of life. And a lot of people that act with destruction and are guided by destruction, they talk about God, but they talk about God from an intellectual standpoint. We need to feel what God is, the ultimately sustainable, constructive, powerful, harmonious. That's it.